Hello everybody, Only DS here. Today we're going to react to a commentary video by SunnyV2. I'm pretty sure you've heard of him a lot. He makes great stories, great analysis on certain YouTubers and celebrities. And that's what we're going to react to, is just celebrities. Meanest versus nicest celebrities. So he posted this about half an hour ago by the time of recording this. And yeah, I cannot wait to see who he'll cover. I've seen Ellen DeGeneres, who is a bit of a bitch, Shaquille O'Neal, who is quite a saint, and I wonder if they're gonna do Jimmy Fallon or Jimmy Kimmel, because like I heard, I'm not sure which, but like one of them has been treating their workers wrong, like basically the same thing that Ellen DeGeneres did like a few years ago. But let's get right into it. Like and subscribe if you want to see more variety content. I not only do reaction videos, but gaming, vlogs, and sports talk. But let's get into the 15-minute long video.
I can tell you who the meanest one I ever met was. Her name is Ellen DeGeneres.
But while all the evidence points to Ellen being awful, Adam Sandler is always highlighted as being incredibly kind.
I do love
Take, for
Adam
example,
Sandler.
the time he was refused a table at IHOP after the server failed to realize it was Adam Sandler asking. Embarrassed, the server shared the CCTV to TikTok, prompting Adam Sandler to meet with the waitress personally, while joking about the rejection by stating, "For the record, I only left the IHOP because the nice woman told me the all-you-can-eat deal didn't apply to the milkshakes," although fans were impressed for a slightly different reason. It's very humble of him to not assert that he's a celebrity and ask for special treatment. He acted just like a regular customer and didn't challenge anyone. I respect him for that, with his humble attitude extending to wedding photo bombs and that time he randomly appeared for some chicken.
You don't act superior.
No way. No way, you're joking.
He filmed a good chunk of Mr. Deeds in my hometown, and he was simply the nicest man ever. He would come out to sign autographs after a full 14+ hour day of shooting. Didn't matter how long the line was, he made sure every single person got to say hello. He had time for photographs and chats with everyone in town, frequented all the local coffee shops and posed with
Now this is a guy that
he
really
seemed to
cares
really
about
care
his
and know
fans.
how excited we all were to have a movie happening and always had a smile, although Adam's fans aren't the only people to talk very highly of him.
You guys love each other. Is that fair to say?
For sure.
Yeah. I hear each of you individually talking about the other in such fond terminology.
Yeah.
After Pete Davidson worked with Adam Sandler on Saturday Night Live, Pete went on to state he's just such a cool, nice guy. I can't explain how wonderful of a person he is. Just like
If you guys
caring and
haven't
sweet
seen the
and
new
not full of
Netflix
crap,
movie
which is
Leo,
very
you should
rare
go
to
check it out.
find.
I'm like
But while
halfway
Adam
into
Sandler's
it.
happy
I need to finish
on-screen
it
mood
like
clearly
this
extends
week.
to his personal life, Mike Myers from Austin Powers is apparently much different when the cameras aren't rolling. Twitter users exposed Mike Myers as an absolute
Mike
nightmare
Myers?
to work with. The article referred to a tweet reading, "Mike Myers had me fired off the set of The Love Guru because I made eye contact with him and I was there as his bodyguard." The tweet had been posted by a person named Jay Brody, who then expanded on the incident in a podcast.
You'll be basically guarding Mike Myers' trailer. They're like, here's the catch. Can't look at him. But I realized, like, I can't let just anyone into the trailer. So I look up, I catch his eye.
So this guy is
for
basically
a
acting
second.
like a child
I give
just
him a
because
nod to
somebody
let him know I'm
looks at-
cool. And then I look away, and within an hour, I get a phone call letting me know that I'm fired and I have to get off set.
Prompting others to give their own anecdotes about Mike Myers' terrible attitude. I was an extra in Love Guru and remember being told we can't make eye contact with Mike. When I tell people this, they don't believe me. Thanks for confirming.
People don't believe it
always
because,
wonder
like,
why
that
there
would be,
weren't
like,
more
childlike
Austin Powers
behavior.
movies, but never realize how many stories there are like this about him. Basically, no one wants to work with the guy, with one of these other stories
Oh my
coming
God,
from the set
this
of
movie
Cat in
is
the
so
Hat,
memeable.
where Mike's co-star Amy Hill stated his area was all covered with tenting because he didn't want anybody seeing him. It was so weird, it was just the worst. I was miserable. Hill also revealed how Diva Myers selfishly kept everyone waiting for hours, overruled the director, and even had someone standing by, just holding his personal chocolates in a dish. It was just a horrible, nightmarish experience, although people have only ever said the opposite
Buscemi,
about
yeah.
Steve Buscemi. Buscemi worked as a New York
Yeah,
firefighter before
I read
quitting
into
to pursue
that.
acting. Although when the Twin Towers were destroyed on September 11, Buscemi walked into his old fire department to volunteer, working 12 hours a day for a week straight in the hopes of finding
Wait, was he at
survivors.
Ground Zero?
He called his old firehouse, then receiving no reply, headed to the site, where he found his former engine company. I asked if I could join them, he said, adding I could tell they were a little suspicious at first, but I worked with them that day. It was a privilege to be able to do it. It was great to connect with the firehouse I used to work with, and with some of the guys I worked alongside. Note, this was in 2001 after he was already extremely famous from movies such as Fargo, yet according to an independent article on his volunteering, very few photographs and no interviews exist because he declined them. He wasn't there for publicity. Wouldn't you think you were hallucinating if Steve Buscemi helped you out of the rubble? What a great
that's
humble
clearly
guy,
amazing
with a
what
Reddit
he
comment
has
then offering a
contributed.
slightly more personal story. I used to serve him all the time and he never once was a diva. Always had a smile on his face, and I mean I don't even think he once had a complicated order. He always ordered the most simple thing on the menu and always tipped 20+%, not to mention Buscemi gets extra credit for being close friends with Adam Sandler. However,
That's
it seems
amazing.
Jerry Seinfeld was left
Was
out
that
of the
Jerry
party,
Seinfeld?
given every clip of him I've seen outside of his shows is just him being an unlikable douche with an ego the size of a small country. This sentiment began with a Larry King interview from 2007.
I went off the air. I was the #1 show on television, Larry. Do you know who I am?
I
75.
hate people that ask that question, do you know who I am? It's like, of course we know who you are. This is just crazy. I'm starting to learn about this from Mike Myers himself and Jerry Seinfeld right now. I mean, I've always known him as a great comedian, and like, yeah, I grew up watching the B Movie. Like, yeah, I know it's mediocre at best. Like, it was treated as a joke back in the day, but yeah, outside of that, he does kind of look like an asshole. I mean, I'm not gonna lie.
Leading Kesha to change her mind about him for pretty obvious reasons.
What happened with Jerry Seinfeld?
Oh my God. Are you friends with him?
I am not.
Okay, we're good. It was like the saddest moment of my life.
Jerry also has a reputation for destroying the paparazzi.
The worst place, like you bomb. I'm sure comics go through all the time.
Another very weak question.
And after Lady Gaga was moved to his luxury basketball box for acting rudely at a game, he had this to say.
This woman's a jerk. I hate her. I can't believe they put her in my box, which I paid for. This is what you give people the finger and you get upgraded? Is that the world we're living in now?
Hysterical, I love him.
Jerry Seinfeld's meanness definitely has a charisma to it. However, if you're wanting a more humble type of charisma, then we have to talk about Post Malone. With entire compilations
Malone.
dedicated to him treating other people kindly, there are almost too many wholesome moments to choose from.
Did you draw this? This is awesome.
I want you to be happier.
Thank you. Cool hat.
There was that time he went out of his way to greet
Sorry, I
a
got
21-year-old
awful
having
singing,
his first beer, or that time he gave his $5,000 guitar to a fan after a concert.
You want a guitar? Yes. It's like a $5,000 guitar, so you have to promise me. You gotta promise me that you're gonna take care of it and play it. Okay? Okay?
Post Malone treats paparazzi in
That
the
is so
opposite way to
kind.
Jerry Seinfeld.
Boss, I want you to know that I
This is just like Stephen Curry giving his pair of shoes to a kid.
That means a lot to me.
Can you say hello to Nicole?
Hi, Nicole.
Signed.
Love you guys.
And when this fan somehow made it past security, Post Malone hugs the guy and treats him respectfully before he's taken off the stage. In a different instance, Post Malone let a fan come on stage to play the guitar part in Stay, and it's therefore no surprise that fans have told anecdotal stories such as, someone in a similar thread said Post moved into his brother's street and went and introduced himself to all his new neighbors and invited them for a barbecue. Genuinely sounds like an awesome guy. I believe this 100%. He had a party in an Airbnb or something a few houses down from my group's Airbnb, and he legit went around the cul-de-sac himself inviting everyone to the party. He also spent the entire night moving between groups, chatting and generally being a phenomenal host and ensuring everyone had a blast. 10
He's
out of
giving
10
everyone a
dude.
huge
But while
welcome
nobody
to
has
his
anything
life.
negative to say about Post Post Malone, it seems nobody has anything positive
That's
to
nice
say
he's
about
giving
Chevy
people
Chase.
invitations.
Remember when Pete Davidson praised Adam Sandler earlier in the video? Well, Pete had the opposite to say about Chevy Chase, stating, "He's a fucking douchebag. I hate that dude. He's just a genuinely bad racist person and I don't like him." Chevy Chase was fired from Community after calling Donald Glover the N-word, not to mention before the firing, Chase was simply difficult to work with.
He was someone that did not want to be there for the hours that we were keeping.
Okay, he looks like a serial killer. What the hell?
Earlier in his career, Chevy Chase had gotten into a fist fight with Bill Murray, and while interviewing Robert Downey Jr., Chase stated,
"Come on,
"Didn't your
man,
father
Bill
used
Murray?
to be a successful director?
You know
Whatever
better
happened to
than
him?
that.
Boy, he sure died, you know, he sure went to hell." It's therefore no surprise that even Will Ferrell stated, "The worst host was Chevy Chase." Yet Chevy Chase foolishly claims that all criticism is just jealousy.
Did you just say that writers writing anything negative is jealousy? Yeah, I did. What kind of jealousy? I'm funnier than them? Yeah, I guess maybe. I'm considered good looking? Yeah, there you have it.
It seems Chevy Chase needs a lesson on humility,
jealousy,
and
man.
who better to teach
It's the
it
way
than
you
Shaquille
behave.
O'Neal.
Gotta humble yourself. It's all about humility. And that's why I am where I am now. I humbled myself. I don't look down on people because they're lesser.
Back in 2011, Shaq had hit rock bottom. He'd retired from basketball, divorced from his wife, and had no idea where his life was going next.
I was lost. 76,000 square
And he has
foot
a
house
career
by
with
yourself,
other
no
NBA
kids.
legends
Go
on
to
inside the
gym, nobody
NBA.
playing in the gym. You go to their room, nobody's there.
It was during this period that Shaq's mom Lucille gave him some
He's such
advice.
a chill guy. I'm telling you right now. Shaq is like
said,
pure
"Hey
hearted.
man, I don't know you no more. You need to humble yourself." And when mama talks, a true man listens.
After which Shaq began working on becoming a better person. He'd state, "The day I killed the narcissist Shaq is the day my kids text me, 'Hey daddy, I miss you.' Bro, when I got one of those texts, man, I actually cried then. I didn't know what to say. After I got that love from them, I said, you know what, I'm not gonna be the asshole Shaq no more. Because I was an asshole and I lost everything. The day I released all that me, Shaq is the day the blessings opened up. As a result, Shaq's been trying to create a fairly unique legacy.
Talk about legacies. I want mine to be one sentence. Shaq was a nice guy.
Which has been aided by his random acts of kindness, purchasing bikes, shoes, and laptops for less fortunate children. It seems the only people
That's
Shaq
what I
won't
want to
give
do
money
someday,
to are
like
his own kids.
start a charity, be a philanthropist. That's if I become rich.
So he gets
I
all
plan
A's,
on
and I
that.
was like, go to the dealership and pick one. Then I get a call from Tesla. I said, man, you better take your ass across the street in a Honda.
But while Shaq is an obvious choice as a nice celebrity, someone you might not expect to be rude is Bill Nye the Science Guy. I met Bill Nye as a kid and he was the biggest asshole I've ever met. It was a huge letdown after watching his show so often in class. My science teacher from 7th grade told us she had an explanation for why she tried to show us as few Bill Nye videos as possible. I believe she said she attended either a science workshop or an event for teachers where Bill Nye was there, and he was completely rude to her and dismissed her the whole time. Bill's dark side becomes pretty obvious when he debates other scientists. However, it seems he becomes the meanest when talking to his most popular demographic, kids. Bill Nye came to visit my university. I was sorely disappointed. Bill Nye relied on sexist jokes to relate to the crowd. He kept complimenting women's legs and saying weird stuff about how sexy women are. He was trying to be relatable, but was sorely mistaken, as he faced a crowd of driven female engineers and scientists. He went on about climate change and basically insinuated that we could be the policy changers while the real scientists did the real work. I couldn't believe how much my views of him were falling apart as I watched him pander to students he clearly didn't care about. I later heard that he wouldn't speak with students, only professors, with this anecdote following the very common theme of Bill Nye was my hero until I heard him talk. Although thankfully Keanu Reeves is the perfect balance between good and evil. While filming the second two Matrix movies, Keanu Reeves chose to give up $75 million worth of his movie earnings, instead redirecting the money to the special effects team who he said deserved it more.
Wow,
Even then, this might not have been his most charitable act while
Keanu, I
filming,
like that,
as a
man.
Reddit user stated, a family friend builds movie sets, doesn't design, is one of the poor dudes that just builds. Anyways, he worked on the set for The Matrix, and Keanu heard about family trouble he was having and gave him a $20,000 Christmas bonus to help him out, although money isn't the only thing that Keanu has given up. In 2011, he was candidly filmed giving up his seat on the New York subway, and 3 years later in 2014, he waited patiently for 20 minutes in the rain outside the rap party of his own film Daughter of God after a mix-up because he didn't want to cause a scene. He didn't say, "Hey, I'm Keanu Reeves," or "Yo man, this is my party," once to the bouncer, and the owner of the club was horrified when he found out afterwards that the actor was standing in the rain. It's therefore no surprise that there's an extremely popular subreddit dedicated to Keanu Reeves being awesome, although if there's one person who could offset this kindness with meanness, it's definitely Ellen DeGeneres. Right now, we all need
she had to be on this list somehow.
Like Ellen DeGeneres
finally
always talks about. She's also notoriously one of the meanest people alive. Respond to this with the most insane stories you've heard about Ellen being mean, and I'll match everyone with $2 to LA Food Bank. This was the tweet that started
He's got to
her
talk
downfall,
about the crew,
as
because
nobody
that's
could
what
have
really
expected
started
how
Ellen's
bad the
downfall
responses
and
would
her
be.
canceling
When
the
I was
show.
15, the Ellen Show was doing a contest of fans making a bust of her and sending it to her. I worked so hard on this and even wrote her a letter. Weeks later, she used it as a prop in a game and gave it away to a random person with $500 attached to the bottom. Working for her, I was instructed that I can't look her in the eye and never ever say hi to her first. But don't worry, she definitely won't be saying hi to you in the first place. She creates the most toxic environment for her staff. I worked at Real Food Daily, served her and Portia a brunch. She wrote a letter to the owner and complained about my chipped nail polish. Not that it was on her plate, but just that it was on my hand. I'd worked till closing the night before, and this was the next morning, almost got me fired. Chris Pontius stated on Steve-O's podcast that he wasn't surprised to hear these anecdotes.
It's crazy that all this stuff's come out, like, about Ellen being mean, because when I met her, I thought she was really mean, like, and she's like, "So what do I gotta do?" And she's just pissed to be there, and then she comes out on stage and she's like all like funny, nice Ellen, you know, like the person that they think she is.
And apparently neither were the 10 employees who came forward 4 months later to expose her terrible working environment.
Toxic, phony, hypocrite, liar. That's what she is. We were told from the very beginning, don't talk to Ellen, don't do this, you can't go into her office. It was very nerve-wracking, very stressful. We all walked on eggshells all the time.
As a result, Ellen took a 14-week hiatus, returning with a pretty standard apology.
Sometimes I get sad, I get mad, I get anxious, I get frustrated, I get impatient, and I am working on all of that.
However, this failed to ensure a returning audience, as in May 2022, Ellen's show was cancelled completely.
Well, good riddance. Good riddance. I mean, it really started to become a downfall. I mean, I remember she treated Mariah Carey so wrong. Like, oh my God, talking about her pregnancy in public. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? And then, like, not only that, but she did, like, she went a little worse, like, just about a minute after. Like, it gives her alcohol to test, as a test of her pregnancy. Like, calm the fuck on, Ellen. You've got to be kidding me. It's like, you really are the meanest of the bunch. I'm telling you. I was going to do it, ladies and gentlemen. Comment what nice or mean celebrity hasn't been mentioned in the video, and what things did they contribute, or what things have they done in the past that has people giving them negative criticism. Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching. Again, like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.